What's going on, everybody? I'm back with another new podcast. Now, look, I know a lot of y'all see the title of this video and y'all might be upset already. I just want to say, relax. You'll have plenty of time for that later, because I want to have an honest conversation. And I know honesty isn't always rewarded, but sometimes it's necessary. And in this case, it is, because there's so many different talking points when it comes to obesity in America. We talk about being fat phobic, fat shaming. There's the body positivity movement. But what's the real behind all of it? And we're going to jump into that. We're going to discuss that. Let's get into it. But before we do, take a second to subscribe to the channel. Go ahead, hit that notification bell so you know every time I release a video. And do me one more favor. Show a little love to the like button, but let's get into it.
I wasted years of my life trying to convince people that I was the exception to their fat phobia. I knew the stereotypes were that fat people are lazy, sloppy, and stupid, and so I devoted all of my energy to proving that I was hardworking, meticulous, and intelligent. But it never mattered. And even though I have all of those qualities, working so hard to make them visible all the time never changed the minds of people who were committed to othering me. It never made them accept me instead. I wasn't helping myself or other fat people by working to be seen as in compliance with an oppressive and incorrect belief system, because ultimately all it did was validate their stereotypes, not my worthiness.
Now, the first thing we have to do is stop framing this conversation from a victimhood mindset. No one's a victim. No one poured 50 pounds of gravy down your throat and made you gain all of that weight. It's a result of your own decisions. Now, she talks about wasting years of her life trying to prove she wasn't that stereotypical fat person. She wasn't lazy, sloppy, or stupid, but she went about it in a lazy and sloppy way. Instead of doing the most obvious thing to disprove them and just going to the gym, she tries to go around her elbow to get to her ass and ends up proving them correct. And that's even if they were thinking about her in the first place. A lot of times we think people see all of our problems, but in reality, people are so focused on themselves, they can't see the things that we think are so glaring about us. So was it really them that was shaming her, or was it herself that shamed herself? And that's what happens a lot. And I think that that's why there's such a link between depression and obesity. I want to read this quick article from healthline.com. It says this: it isn't clear how this vicious cycle turns, but it is clear that obesity and depression are linked. For years, researchers were hesitant to connect the two, but as study results became more clear, anecdotal reports have turned to hard science. Today, it's well understood that obesity can increase your risk for depression and vice versa. Now imagine taking years of your life worried about what other people think of you. Could you imagine the effects that that's going to have on your mental health? Do you think that that could lead to some depression? So clearly, we need to start telling people to take care of the problem, because other problems can stem off of that. Yes, we all like to feel good, but taking care of the problem is the ultimate feel good. But we're not done with this conversation. We got more videos to look at. Let's take a look at this.
Travel might look a little different for us plus-size folks, but it's still possible. The airlines should do a better job accommodating us, but until then, I'll keep shouting my message from the rooftops. You deserve to travel just as much as anyone else.
See, here's my problem with this. It's the entitlement. The fact that you can't fit on an airplane seat, the tray can't come out all the way, and you can't even stand in the bathroom. That's not enough of a sign to say it's time to make some changes in my life. I don't understand why people would continue to live this way and then have the nerve to blame somebody else, to blame the airlines, as if the airlines cause you to get fat, as if the airlines are just making their seats small to discriminate against you. No, you're getting too big. Take your ass to the gym. And what's even worse about this video is she has what looks like an oxygen tank, which I don't know what the health reasons are, but most of us would bet that it's related to her obesity problem. Now, take a look at some of these facts from the CDC. It talks about obesity. It's a common, serious, and costly disease. It says the U.S. obesity prevalence was 41.9% in 2017 to March 2020. From 1999 to 2000 through 2017 to March 2020, U.S. obesity prevalence increased from 30.5% to 41.9%. During the same time, the prevalence of severe obesity increased from 4.9% to 9.2%. Now let's read this part. Obesity-related conditions include heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, and certain types of cancer. These are among the leading causes of preventable premature deaths. Now, I know the first thing a lot of people say is you can be skinny and still get these same things. Yes, that's going to still be as a result of not taking care of your body properly. It's just it's done in other ways. This obesity is one of the most preventable ways to prevent some of these diseases from popping up. But nobody wants to do anything until it's too late. I promise you, people will sit there and feed you cookies and Kool-Aid until your legs fall off. And then it's only afterward that they're so sorry and, oh, somebody should have did something. Let's do something from the beginning. We have all the information out there that we need to understand what's going on and how obesity affects us, but we have to want to do the work. All of this body positivity stuff sounds good in your 20s and 30s, but I promise you, once some 40s and 50s gets here and those knees hurt even more, that back is hurting, those ankles hurt, your feet are swollen, you have these health problems, you're like her wearing that oxygen mask, you're gonna wish that you took care of yourself when you're younger because you only get one body. And it's not shaming people to tell people that. You have to tell the truth, and we need to start being a nation or a world or a society that tells people the truth and stops just making them feel good. But hang on, because we're not done with this conversation. We're going to take one more angle with this.
Increases physical activity is going to be helpful.
Leon's mother is convinced his weight is due to genetics rather than his diet or lack of exercise.
Good healthy mum, but you could be luring him too much. You could be giving him loads of food that's good for him, but a lot of it. Is that potentially an issue?
No, it's not an issue. What's that what you're looking for? Please. Say. What'd you say to Nanny? We had a bit of a thing because Leon wanted chocolate cake. Leon's not used to having chocolate cake. But it was a party at the school. Now, I am not going to Leon's school and saying Leon can't have that party because he's not allowed there. I am not going to isolate him any further than why he already gets isolated as it is.
Within minutes of eating the cake, Leon's mother was offering him another snack.
Weetabix and strawberries? Weetabix and talking to you? Weetabix and strawberries on? Yeah. Or banana? There you go. I just wish someone put a camera in the corner of my house and watch my son, then come back and tell me I'm doing something wrong. Because I guarantee they won't find nothing. Mushy peas?
Yeah, mushy peas.
Okie dokie. Well, we're going to eat the broccoli, we'll eat the rest. Alright, I'll take the broccoli off.
Fish.
That's the thing, blow it then.
But a 5-year-old boy, should he have a wheelchair? He should be able to walk.
Well, if there's a 5-year-old boy weighs 10 stone odd, answer me that.
Encourage more and more exercise.
Yeah.
And then the next thing I saw was Leon in a wheelchair. And I think
halfway home from his school after spending all day in school.
He did, but he's a 5-year-old lad, isn't he? Cases that they see.
Leon's use of a wheelchair came as a surprise to Dr. Didi.
I was not aware of this wheelchair till it came to light about a month ago. And
now she knows she's wrong for this. That's a 5-year-old boy. There's no reason he should be that big and needs a wheelchair to get around. He's like one of those little Maury babies from back in the day. They used to roll on stage with a forklift. It don't even make any sense. You control what he eats. He can't go to McDonald's and get himself a meal. You can. So be the parent and take some accountability and do right by your child. You're setting him up for a lifetime of problems he didn't ask for. And there's so much data and statistics that link childhood obesity with later problems into adulthood. Let's just take a look at this right here. The prevalence of obesity was 19.7% and affected about 14.7 million children and adolescents. Obesity prevalence was 12.7% among 2 to 5 year olds. That's way too young. And 20.7% among 6 to 11 year olds. And 22.2% among 12 to 19 year olds. Childhood obesity is also more common among certain populations. Now, clearly, there are a lot more parents out there just like her. The rates of obesity should not be that high in children so young. They don't get to control what they eat. I mean, if you get big as an adult, that's on you, but children, that's on the parents. So you have to be a little bit more careful with children's nutrition because you could be sending them on a long road to health problems. And that's not fair to a child that doesn't know any better. That's just going by what you're giving them. And that's really going to wrap this conversation up. I know that this is a sensitive topic, but hey, the truth has to be told, and there are consequences for our actions. And even if it makes you feel bad, it doesn't mean that you're being shamed. It just means that somebody cares enough to tell you the truth. But that's going to do it. So subscribe to the channel, like the video, and if you have anything to say, please leave it in the comments below. And until another time, I'll see you guys later.